The Magick Kitchen Podcast is funded and supported by thewitchwoodteahouse.com, offering a variety of hand-blended loose leaf teas as well as loose herbs for all of your ritual, spell work, wellness, and everyday enjoyment needs. If you would like to support this podcast while sipping a great cup of tea, head over to thewitchwoodteahouse.com and find the magic that's in store for you.
This time in the Magick Kitchen, we are here to defend Imbolc.
I'm Leandra Witchwood.
And I'm Elyse Welles.
And welcome to the Magick Kitchen Podcast, where we talk about magic, kitchen witchcraft, herbs,
and everything in between.
In defense of Imbolc.
Imbolc is my favorite Sabbath. It is my favorite Wheel of the Year holiday. And no one gets it. No one understands why. And today, I really want to dive into why Imbolc is super important, why you do not want to skip this Sabbath, and why I think the West has rejected it. Because there's a little bit of politics and yeah, it's an interesting reason why it's gone from our culture today in the West. Do you like Imbolc?
Agreed. I do. And like you were saying, it's kind of one of the ones that I skip over because I think I'm still in that winter haze, and we're we're releasing this on Imbolc, right?
I think so.
Is that when this comes out?
Yeah, which we'll talk about when Imbolc is too, because that's different depending who you talk to.
I am not a big summer winter person. I'm definitely spring, fall. So things that land when it's too hot or too cold or too dark or too bright, I kind of scream around them.
I think most listeners probably too. Like, I think a lot of people think of Imbolc as honestly all these cross quarter days. So let's talk about what the Wheel of the Year is and why the heck there's 8. Why 8? Did they randomly pick that?
Right.
No.
We have a lot.
Yeah. And they're every 6 weeks, give or take. And of these 8 Wheel of the Year holidays, 4 of them exist on the quarter days. So literally the quarters that divide our year. And those are our solstices, 2 of those, and our equinoxes, 2 of those. Mm-hmm. Then we have the cross quarter days. So the literal cross quarters, they fall directly in the middle of those. And like those are those other holidays. Yeah, so you have this 8-section pie Wheel of the Year. And each of these pie sections are 6 weeks long. So again, I always remind people, it's never about the day you celebrate a Sabbath. It's about the season that it kicks off.
Yes.
And it starts a little before. You start to feel the egregore of the holiday as it approaches. And then once it's here, it kind of rules us for those 6 weeks. Similar to how we might feel ruled by a planet during that sun period. These are important. And I think they flow around us whether we use them or not. And so they can be a touch point and a guidepost for flowing. And I think it's actually when we feel the least connected to what's going on around us that these holidays can be our most important ones. Now, I'm not suggesting if you're low and flat and your winter is rough and it's lots of ice and, it doesn't have to be big, but it's acknowledgement of what Imbolc really is. So that's what I'm glad that you shared that you're on the listener's side of this because
I am.
I think Imbolc, that's why this is the defense of Imbolc because I really love it.
Yeah. Well, and I used to, when I was in my coven space, when I was with my coven and we met every week and, we celebrated together. It was one of the things that we did honor. And so I learned about it. I celebrated it then, but on my own, I just don't. Now the cross quarters, like, the solstices and the equinoxes. Yeah, for sure. I'm all about those.
Yeah. The quarters. Those are the quarter days.
Yeah. And it's, to me, I don't know. It doesn't resonate with me the same. I don't feel it the same. Like, I'll feel Lammas coming. I will feel that one coming. That one is palpable to me. But that's also that transition from summer into fall. It's coming.
That's a cross quarter day, though. So the
yeah,
quarters.
Yes, it is. That's why it's weird that this one doesn't land for me, but that one does.
Yeah, these liminal ones.
I don't know if it's and like I love spring, so like getting closer to spring, like that's let's do that, right? But for some reason, this one, I think it's because candles are so heavy in it. Like I do candles all the time, so it doesn't seem that special to me. It's kind of just an everyday thing, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe
that's what it is. It's just so routine for me. It doesn't seem like it's this celebration. Plus, it's a minor Sabbath. It's not one that's one of the big four, right?
Well, it's interesting you bring up minors and majors, because I think that conversation is so different depending. I don't even know if the modern witchcraft world talks about them at all. I remember as a kid talking about minor and major, like in my first coven. But then there was also in Druidry, they actually only celebrate the cross quarter days. They don't celebrate the solstices and equinoxes until Ross Nichols forms Obod and kind of introduces that. But traditionally, what we know of in Ireland is they actually celebrated the cross quarters more.
Right.
Which is so fascinating. So that is a good point.
I mean, look at Samhain,
about.
You know?
Yeah, Samhain's the cross quarter. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's huge.
So I celebrate all of them, not just because I have a coven, but even when on my own, I honor each of them because they mark a moment in our wheel that's happening whether we use it or not. And what Imbolc was and is. So let's do like the whole, for those who know about this, you're going to probably be rolling your eyes and you can skip 30 seconds, but we'll just go quickly and explain what it is. So Imbolc, the word, comes from Imbolc, which is Gaelic for ewes milk. Y-E-W's milk. Like, oh no, that's not how you spell it. E-W-E's milk, meaning E-W-E. Female sheep. You is the tree. Yeah. You, the sheep. Mama sheep. It's about their milk because that's when they start. Yeah, the lambing starts. So that's really what it comes from. It's about this lamb, this renewal. It also, in the Christian calendar, was called Candlemas, which meant the celebration of candles. Both of these things give us the true meaning that we take on as modern practitioners, which is the lamb, thinking of that as hope and renewal of new life. Winter is coming to an end. Don't worry. This won't last forever. It's right over the horizon. And Candlemas, the candles had the same significance as well because Candlemas represented this crossing over of you now do not need candles in the evening. You get to save your money because candles were so expensive.
Yes,
we are starting to feel that in the U.S. with how expensive electric is, where we have to really be like, can I afford to have the lights on in this room anymore?
Yeah.
That is what our ancestors went through. So as you go through that in your home, think of your ancestors because that was the reality until quite recently. We are so new in having access to resources like electricity and light and warmth.
And I think it's worth saying that there's different variations of it. So there's Imbolc. So there's slight different spellings. So if you Imbolc, Imbolg. So I see Imbolc, the C spelling, more often. And that one comes from more Irish neo-pagan calendars or traditions than the Imbolc, which I'm not even sure if it's really spelled with a G. It's just that's how I enunciate it, so I know the spelling. That one's more Gaelic. And that one comes more from Scotland, Wales territories or traditions. And then Candlemas is the Christian counterpart.
Yeah.
So if you're confused about that, that's where that comes from. So usually February 1st-ish, because in the Gaelic or Celtic calendars, it's not based on the actual day, like Elyse was saying. This is a season. We're coming into a season. It's not a specific day, but we can feel it more. I think it's just easier also for humans that it's easier for us to say, okay, we're going to mark this day because we need to know when are we getting it together? When are we celebrating? When are we lighting the candles? What day are we doing that? Right.
Yeah.
So February 1st would be the Imbolc and Candlemas would be February 2nd.
Yeah. And for those listening too, there's Irish Gaelic, Scotch Gaelic, Welsh, Cornish, Manx and I think one or two others. But there are 7 different Gaelic variations in that language tree. So the spellings come from regional differences, but they are all referring to the same essential holiday, the lambing.
Same idea.
The expression of light returning. So, and when we say they didn't need candles anymore, it's because the light is truly returning. So even right now, as we're recording this here in January, the light is starting to return, you know? On Yule, the sun was setting where I'm at here in the U.S. around 4:20, 4:30. Now it is up until 5:30. That's a win. And it can be hard to notice that
5:30?
Yeah, it can be hard to notice that win, but it is coming. And that's why Imbolc is so important to my heart. And one of the reasons is because it's that turning point. It's like, look, undeniably, the light's returning. It's proven to you that it shall return. And now we honor it and welcome it home. And what renewals will come for us as the light comes to grow the soil and the plants and us. It's really special. Now, of course, we can't talk about Imbolc without talking about Brigid's Day. So that is the other traditional. People are probably like, Elyse, you got to mention Brigid. Yes, of course, we're getting there. Brigid's a fire goddess. Yes. She's goddess of the hearth, goddess of creation, goddess of the home. And
Smith crafting.
Yes, and poetry. Crafting, creativity. So again, we get this renewal. We get this reminder of light returning. The light within us, that is our creative spark. The light within us, that is the divine being brought out in what we create in the world. That is what creation is. That's why we are creative beings, is because it's how we fulfill our purpose, is to put out, to create. And Brigid is actually, this is really exciting. We did an episode about it back at the time, but in 2023, we talked a lot more about Brigid in that episode too. We did a lot about Brigid. And Imbolc, Brigid's Day, I should say, the official first time it was ever celebrated in the modern Irish nation as a national holiday was 2023. So that was a really special year because we actually saw pagan practices being accepted back into the mainstream. And Brigid's fantastic because she's a perfect example of how the syncretism, the crossover between cultures and eras of time continue. So Brigid was a goddess, then she was a saint. No big deal. Yeah. She gets to be enjoyed by both. So that's, again, where the arbitrariness of these dates come from. So I forget the date they actually picked. Did they pick the 2nd or the 1st for Brigid's Day?
I think it's the 2nd.
I think so, too.
I could be wrong. I don't remember.
Which would make sense to stick with the Candlemas connection. But it's always all been the same concept, which is what I just love about it. And if you're ever able to go to Ireland during Brigid's Day, they do parades. It looks incredible. Oh, yeah. So that's definitely on my list one of these days to do. Yeah. But yeah, definitely the best thing to think about with Imbolc, and why I think it's very much important to celebrate is it is that reminder of the returning light. It's that invitation to yourself to choose creativity over stagnation. Yeah. And it's often when we're least interested in leaving the muck that we need to, you know, so we can spend December, we end up doing a lot out of the house. We're tired. There's too much socializing happening. But then January comes and we're like, oh, gotta rest. Gotta be flat a while. And so we are, and it's great. And then if we're not careful, we could do that a good long while. But Imbolc says, come on, look at that light.
Time to get up.
It's coming back.
Time to return to the light after the darkness.
Yeah, it's going to be fine. You can do it. It's gentle, though. It's gentle. It's not.
It is. It's not. It's not. Here's the sun blaring in your eyes.
Yeah, it's like the
burning
promise.
Your corneas or your retinas.
Yeah.
Well, and I also look at this, the theme of Imbolc to be this time, like returning to the light, of course, but purification, that inner and outer purification. I like to take this time. This is when I really start to declutter and clean. Like we talk about spring cleaning, but I'm noticing, looking back at my habits and following the nudges of the season. This is when I start looking at things and going, oh crap, that's dusty. I need to dust that. Oh, how did that get there? Like, let's throw that away or give it away. So, and I'm noticing right now, as we're recording that's what I did this whole last weekend, is I looked at my space. I'm like, wow, that's awful. Like, how am I even living in this crap? And I started, chucking things that were trash, or I was reorganizing things, getting out my little organizer boxes and trays and putting things out and taking things to storage, or just donating stuff. So that it's kind of that like the inner fire starts to ignite in me, and I start to look around my space going, you know what, I've been indoors way too long. Look at this mess I made. And so I start purifying not just my inner space, but I also start purifying my habits. I start purifying what I do, my altar. Like that's my next big project, is to take apart my altar, go through all the drawers, go through all the cupboards, and get rid of stuff, burn stuff that I can't use, or I'm not using, or I meant to use, but I never did. You know, just really get into a new, fresh start as we enter into the light of the year, the lightness, the warmth. So that's not something I'm worrying about when I'm, hey, I want to go out for a hike. It's nice out. Oh, but I got to stay home and clean.
Yeah. Well, and I like that you mentioned that you'll burn what no longer serves you. Again, the other side of fire holidays. They ignite our inner flame, but they also invite us to destroy what doesn't serve and release it. Release it. Because fire is the best releaser, because it transmutes it to air, ash, gone. Yep. Done, dusted. And ash is what? Yep. Fertilizer. It is excellent for your soil. So I love releasing through fire rituals. So that's a great thing to do if you're looking for something to do for Imbolc. Well,
and here's a tip for our listeners. This is what I do. I keep a basket underneath my altar. You can actually, when you join me on a live call in the Rebel Mystic Coven, or if I'm teaching somewhere, if you look in the background and look down, you'll see a basket underneath my altar. I don't know if you can see it, Elyse. It's right there. Yeah. But that is my catch-all basket. So the things that I'm not using, especially herbs, spell components, spell jars that need to be reconstituted or destroyed or completed, I throw everything in that basket. And then once a month, I go through that basket. I'm like, okay, what needs to be burned? What needs to be destroyed? What needs to be dismantled? What needs to be reintroduced into the earth as compost? What energies do I need to release? And I get questions a lot about, well, what I did the spell and now I have all these components. What do I do with it? This is what you do with it. You throw it in the basket, go through it every month, whether it be the dark moon, the full moon, whatever. And this time of year is a great time to go through that basket, even if it's not the full moon, and just look at, okay, what do I need to burn? What do I need to get rid of? Maybe all of it has to go. Fresh start. Clean it all out. Reclaim what I can reclaim, and compost, burn, return to the soil what I don't need anymore, what I can.
Nice. Yeah, I do. I used to do that more religiously with my jars. I used to have a more spell work heavy practice. Now my practice is so much more relational. I don't have as much quote unquote spell waste now. And a lot of my offerings are just to the land. So I don't have to then figure out how to remove it from the altar. That's kind of a random side note. But yeah, I've actually, as I say that, I don't think I've left an offering on my altar, like a physical thing that needs to then be removed for a while. But I like to give offerings at my altar of song and music and drumming and poetry that I write, things like that. So it's less stuff now on my altar. It's more, I take it to the land if I want to give an offering. Mm-hmm. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine arriving somewhere built to hold you. Stone paths leading to hidden caves of the goddess. Salt water clearing away old patterns. Long tables of food and friendship shared beside a sunset. Temples of the old gods. Alive in and around you. You are invited to join me in Greece on an in-person pilgrimage through ancient temples and landscapes where women once gathered to grieve, rest, and remember themselves. We travel to the temple of Artemis, Hecate's cave at Eleusis. We swim inside a temple of Hera and enter a hidden goddess cave and sacred sites to Aphrodite and Medusa. Our days are shaped by land, water, and ritual. Our nights are spent at a private villa with expansive views, a private pool, deep rest, and exceptional food prepared with care. This retreat is for women and non-binary seekers carrying exhaustion, grief, or a long history of holding it together. Join us at ElyseWelles.com/feminine wound, where spots still remain. The land can hold it. Come to Greece and answer that call to heal.
Yeah. And this is a great time to declutter that altar space and all the stuff that you have, because we collect things all the time. We don't use it all. It just kind of sits there. And what better way to repurpose that and give it to another magical folk, that magical person that wants to use it, that can use it, that would appreciate it. So it's not just collecting dust. That's my goal. That's what I'm going to be doing the next couple of weeks. I'm going to go through all of this and get rid of some stuff. Like I have an orange here that needs to go. It was an offering and that needs to go. It's all dried. It's all husky.
Yeah, I was going to say now it's
like a baseball.
Yeah, it's a weapon. So let's talk about this whole Imbolc thing from the kitchen witch perspective, because I believe you have a stew that fits our...
I have stew and I have a bannock recipe, which is very traditional.
Yes, so they are so traditional.
They're so good. And I was looking at the recipe right now as we were talking. I'm like, oh, I think I want to make these because, well, I'm gluten-free. So I'm going to replace the flour with 1-to-1 flour and see how it turns out. So I will let everybody know how that works out because I have not tried that yet. But
I bet it'll work because bannocks don't need to really rise. So it should be
nice. They're just like a scone. So this vegetable soup is a chicken vegetable soup. So if you don't want the chicken, omit the chicken. You don't have to have the chicken. But this soup, so I was going through recipes for the Gardens of the Mystic retreat that we did in the fall. And I wanted super easy recipes we could all collaboratively create together. And I'm redundant there, but I wanted something that was easy that we could cook. I have a huge cauldron Dutch oven that I wanted to use. So I'm like, okay, we need soups and stews. Plus it was cold up where we were. So I found this recipe, and the original recipe that I was going off of, I was like, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. How the hell are you going to make a soup just by throwing everything in and letting it go? And I did do a lot of tweaking to it. So this recipe is not exactly the same as the one I found, but it has the same premise. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to throw everything into your pot and let it cook. It sounds nuts. It's so easy, but you basically just throw it in and let it go. So basically it's carrots, celery, onion, typical soup stuff. But you have sweet potatoes and russets, garlic, dried sage. I used rubbed sage. That one I think has the best, to me, it has the best sage flavor for cooking. Hang on.
What is a rubbed sage? I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Rubbed sage. It's basically like it's sage. It's culinary sage, but it almost looks fluffy. Like they do something to it. I don't know what they do to it. Like, I'll have to research that because I don't remember what they do to it, but it's fluffy. And
so it's like
if you're not careful, it does get
the flavor.
Yeah, it's like activated, like, and it's got a really good sage flavor to it. Salt and pepper to taste, of course. Avocado oil, chicken thighs, boneless, skinless, chicken broth, and then instead of using heavy cream, which you can, coconut cream. The reason I use the coconut cream is because one of our members of the retreat, she is lactose intolerant, so I substituted. And again, any recipe that I offer on my website or on the podcast, like substitute what you need to substitute. If you don't do chicken, you don't do meat, you can substitute. If you don't want coconut cream, do heavy cream. It's fine. But basically what you do is you throw everything in and then it cooks. You just let it go. Let it do its thing. It is so easy. And it was so good. And everybody loved it. I was so surprised. I didn't expect it to be as good as it turned out, but it's really good. But I think what does it is the dried rubbed sage is what sets it over the top. You can even add rosemary to it if you want a little extra. But the russet potatoes and the sweet potatoes thicken it. So it ends up being this really hearty stew. And it's got so much color. I think it turns out to be like a bright orange when it's done. And it's one of the stews that when I went back to Pine Notch this last time to spend some time up there, the owner was my friend Nancy. She was like, we need to make that stew again. That was amazing. We need to do that again. So we did.
Oh,
it's such a good one. But then I have the bannock recipe, and these are two that I love for this time of year because, first of all, the bannocks, they are traditional. So you're going to throw everything together. So I have the recipes, and I will put them. I'll put a link in the show notes, or you can find them on my website. They'll be on the resources page of my website, and you can download them from there. But bannocks, again, they're super easy. You throw everything together. It doesn't have to rise. It doesn't have to, proof or anything like that. You throw it all together. You pack it into this like circular shape, throw it in the oven, and then cut it like a pie. So it resembles that wheel of the year. And I like them. They're super good.
So do you use a pie dish?
Whatever berries you like it. No, just form it by your hands.
Oh,
just hand form it. You can. I mean, you could use a pie dish if you really wanted to. I don't see why not. But it's got, orange zest. It's got blackberries, blueberries. You could put raspberries, lingonberries, whatever you want in it. So those are the two recipes I have for everybody.
Nice. Do you have them as a way they could download them? Like, do you have a link you can put in the show notes?
It'll be a link. Yeah, it'll be a link in the show notes, and they can go in and
nice.
Grab those. So just a side note, what I'm doing for my entire community is I have made an Imbolc workbook. So it basically, what we're talking about, I'm actually looking at the workbook right now. I'm like, oh yeah, we talked about that. Oh yeah, we talked about that. So all the things that we've talked about is in the workbook. The only thing that we haven't talked about are like correspondences for Imbolc. So we could touch on those.
Yeah, why not? We'll do some good old correspondence. Let me say a word on correspondences just to preface this. I used to be, as many of us begin our path, when I was in middle school and high school and I was reading my first witchcraft books, I was so concerned about correspondences and making sure I didn't pick the wrong thing. And, if I throw that in there, is it going to ruin the whole thing? Correspondences are to help you connect.
Yeah.
Not to distract you. They're suggestions, yes. So do not get so in your head about it. I think the only correspondences that are like, be aware those can't be that, is like for crystals, like things like, or for anything protective, like mugwort, for example, or mullein, or crystals like obsidian or tourmaline. Those can block energy. So if you use them too much in spells to command energy, like to build relationship or to invite inspiration, or you're putting up a shield for energy to find you. So
definitely be aware of how to use these things.
Yeah.
Just don't think that you have that. I can only use this.
Yeah.
Just be aware of how to use them. Be aware of
how they'll affect each other. And
yes.
But like if you look up a list of, like, let's say you're doing your Imbolc thing and you're like, you know what? I really want to use a yellow candle and I want to press lavender into it. And all of your correspondences, you look it up, lavender is going to probably show up more for like Astara or Beltane or Litha.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's okay. It means calm.
Okay.
It means,
it's okay.
Presence. Like, it's great to use it in bulk. So just because a book might not affirm for you what your heart is saying, if it's definitely not going to hurt it, like lavender, good luck hurting yourself with lavender. Stick with it. So anyway, that's just a note on saying don't like overthink correspondences too much. So we're going to give you some fun ones here, but if they don't resonate with you, that's okay. That's fine. If you have something else you want to use,
so let's start with colors. So colors are probably the typical ones you would think of. So I always think of white, gold and yellow, green and red, like pretty basic. So white for purity and clarity, gold and yellow for sunlight and rebirth, green for growth. Think of evergreens, which that could be down with the flowers and herbs and plants, and then red for life. So in my tradition, white is death, red is life, and black is gestation. So that's the position I come from when I'm picking these colors.
That's interesting. That's like African associations.
There's a lot of like connection there. I don't know if it's deliberate or if it's accidental, the hive mind.
Yeah.
The collective consciousness. But yeah, in the Celtic system, that's that I come from. That's those associations. Now, white can be purity too, but death is thought of as purity in my tradition. It's not thought of as this ending, but it's almost a beginning, like going to sleep and waking up.
Yeah.
It's a cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how the ancient Greeks viewed death, as like the underworld is not a place where death happens. It's where life comes from, because you go to the underworld to await reincarnation.
Exactly.
So interesting. My associations for Imbolc are yellow for the candle. We always use yellow. Blue, because it's that reminder that we are still in the rest of winter. It's not a time to, well, I will say it's not a time to act under pressure. You might find yourself inspired to act and do things, but it's not a time where it's like, hey, don't miss this chance. Like Lionsgate, Lammas time. Y'all have heard me on this podcast, on my own programs, social media. I'm always kind of harping on how important it is to use the Lionsgate. But Imbolc isn't like that. It's very gentle. So we always use yellow and light blue, kind of thinking of the ice and the remainder of winter. And and then grounding you back into the presence of, at least for me, I try to still enjoy winter. And that's probably because I've spent about half my life without winter. So the half I've had with it is nostalgic and enjoyable, and I love it. So I know not everyone feels that way. So you might be like, yeah, no.
I'm freaking done with it.
I love it. Meanwhile, we're expecting
ice on my driveway. I'm done.
Yeah, that's no fun. We're expecting a snowstorm this weekend, and I'm literally over the moon. I'm so excited.
Yeah, thank you.
I have 2 limited series picked out to binge watch with my husband and my brother.
Okay. I need to blend some teas. Like that's what I'm doing tomorrow. Is I'm going to blend a bunch of teas so I have my stash, my stock ready to go.
Oh, that's going to be so nice. Getting distracted. Anyway, continue. Correspondences. What's next?
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about like plants, herbs, and flowers. So I think of the one. I always associate the plants that come up first.
Yeah.
So think of the crocuses, the snowdrops, but the evergreens are in there, like cedar and pine. But I still put rosemary in this. I know we just talked about like rosemary being like the catch-all, but it's not really. I put rosemary in here because of its brightness, because it's very bright, it's very cleansing, and it's agreeable. It's not like, it's not one of those things where you're like, oh God, who's burning that? You know, or what are you burning? Like the crinkle the nose up thing. I always find rosemary as being very pleasant when it burns. So that's why I'll honest full disclosure, I'll probably include rosemary for every freaking Sabbath. So
yeah. And another note on correspondences, not everything is just replaceable as anything. Like I had that question recently. Is rosemary replaceable for all herbs? No, it's not.
No.
But it is good for every Sabbath, I think, because it's about remembrance. It's about clarity, clearing the air, literally and figuratively if you burn it.
It literally clears bacteria out of the air.
Yeah. Yep. It banishes ill. So it's a fantastic one to use at these 8 points of the year, which are meant to renew and rejuvenate you. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that fits for every Sabbath.
Quick pause, because if any of this is resonating with you, but you still feel like you're missing something, you're not alone. Most witches aren't confused because they're doing it wrong. They're confused because no one ever taught them the skills or the context beneath the surface. That's why I created the Rebel Mystic Witchcraft skill trees. Each tree is a structured, grounded path that teaches you how different elements of witchcraft actually work. So you can build real confidence instead of second-guessing yourself. If you're ready for clarity, you can explore all the skill trees I have available, plus the growing library at leandrawitchwood.com, or feel free to join my free community, the Rebel Mystic Coven, to learn more. All right, back to the conversation. All right, next, crystals. I prefer citrine for this holiday, but also jade. I don't, for some reason, jade always seemed to resonate really well. And again, this is my preference. This is my association with them. If that totally does not feel right to you, then maybe check out amber or amethyst or a blue crystal. Name a blue crystal. I don't know any blue ones. Maybe even aventurine.
Aventurine, sodalite, lapis lazuli.
Sodalite. Maybe even your selenite?
Selenite?
Yeah, selenite. I just picked up my egg. So literally I just picked up an egg. That's a selenite egg in front of me. But yeah, I think selenite's a good one for this holiday too.
Yeah. It reminds me of the snow. I'm not a crystals person particularly. I have several, which is a crazy story about how all of them came to me. I don't know if I've shared it on the podcast before, but fun fact, I found them on Marketplace and saved them. So I have them, and they all come from, by happenstance. I saw this post and she's like, my husband's going to throw them away. I was like, oh, so I saved them. They all come from the shop that my coven lineage is called Crystal Fox in Maryland. One of the high priestess who initiated me was initiated by a high priestess in the same group as a woman who started the Crystal Fox like 45 years ago as a shop. So these are like, I saved them for my lineage. So they're in my coven room, but I don't really use crystals. So I feel kind of bad about it, but I'm getting to know them every so often. So I don't really use crystals, but what I will do for every Sabbath, Imbolc, no exception, because we might tell ourselves, oh, it's too cold. I don't want to do it for this one, but I do it for every Sabbath.
It is too cold. Shush.
Go on a walk. That's what I recommend. I go on a walk. I know. I go on a walk and I collect what nature has. So for Imbolc, actually, I tend to associate Imbolc with water. So I love the opportunity, if it comes, to bring snow indoors, melt it naturally, let it melt, and let that melting be the reminder that the sun is coming back. And so then that snow melt water I use. Honestly, sometimes I just leave it on my altar as an offering and then release it to the land as it evaporates, and it's done. Or I will use it in the mornings and just like anoint myself with it as a reminder. Don't worry, the light really is coming back. It's going to be okay.
So going for a walk, does going to the gym and getting on the treadmill count?
Well, not if you're trying to hear the land spirits, because they're
damn it.
Yeah, yeah. Because that's why I go for the walk, is to see what the land is doing, to not miss it. Because when those snowdrops pop up, that is something else. It is the promise that I just feel so moved by every year.
Yeah, I love it. We have a yellow flower that pops up just after the snowdrops, and I can't remember what they are, but they're so cute.
It's not buttercups, is it?
No, I don't remember what they are.
Because there's also
they're like
grape hyacinths.
They take over. Oh, those are pretty too. I like those too. Yeah,
they usually come. So
you have
quickly.
all these. Yeah. So other symbols. Of course, the Brigid's cross, candles, seeds, lambs, sheep, and the hearth and home. Those are symbols that I typically think of when I think of this time of year, because we're still hanging out in home. We're still cooking indoors. I mean, if you're nuts like me, you might not barbecue in the snow, but I mean, I do. I barbecue in the winter.
I was gonna say we do too, as long as it's not literally coming down on us, because we don't have a covered area. But yeah, I love grilling.
Well, it's 7 degrees out right now. I won't be. No. It's too cold.
No,
but
40s.
I will.
The 40s is great.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Fahrenheit, people.
Foods?
Fahrenheit.
Yes.
They're like, that's very hot, Elyse. No.
No.
Fahrenheit, which is like 8 Celsius. It's not bad.
Yeah. So foods, stick like soups and stews, the bannocks, foods that are cooked with dairy, oat cakes, breads, seeds, grains. Like think of those. Think of the hearty stuff, like things that are going to sustain you, but also nourish you. They're not just carbs. They're not just the filling the void. It's nourishment.
And if you're like me and you are dairy free, and I'm allergic to lactose, but also cow's milk itself, so lactate doesn't really help me. But sheep's milk is even more on brand for Imbolc if you live somewhere where you can go for sheep's milk or goat's milk. Goat's milk can have that like flavor. Sheep's milk does not. Sheep's milk itself, I would never in my life have a glass of milk anyway. It's like very strange to me when people just drink milk for fun. But
my son does. It's insane.
Oh my God. I just remember like waiting in the lunch line as a kid and like the milk mustache advertising. And I was just like, who and why?
What are we doing?
Yeah, it's such an American thing, which actually weirdly politically relevant right now too, as we say this. But anyway, not going to go there. Not going to go there. But sheep's milk, I will say, is not as bad. And so if you want to have milk in your thing, I like sheep's yogurt when I can get it. It's so hard to get in the United States. But if you can find like an Eastern European grocery or an Asian grocery, they will often have these alternative milks and cheaply. Like they will mark you up at Whole Foods, but if you go to those places, they'll have it for the actual value. So
yeah, they do.
So you can invite that. And
very cool.
And honey. Honey is not necessarily an Imbolc association, but for me, I like honey. And I've meditated on why this might be. And I think it's because for our ancestors, honey is this everlasting food. And by February, you might have some people in your village dying of starvation already.
Right.
So your honey will be your last store. It will last forever. So it will be there as this reminder of life. So I think that's why honey to me is symbolic of Imbolc. And then the other side of this is that in Greece, we have Anthesteria in February, which is a 3-day holiday, essentially celebrating the same thing, the returning of light, but it begins with the first day of it is mourning the dead. Because winter is such a devastating time. We lose people over the winter. Even today, it's the most common time for people to pass away. So that might be something you want to include in your Imbolc rituals, even though it's not necessarily a part of Imbolc, but maybe you do feel a bit of loss and you want to mourn. That's part of the releasing, letting go of what has come to pass. But then Anthesteria is 3 days because the next day we honor the present and then we move forward. There's a lot more to this, but I'll abridge it. And then there's the Falaforia parade, which is a literal celebration of the returning of fertility to the land. It's the one that you've seen, if you follow me on Instagram, with the giant red penis that they walk through the streets. So beautiful. Dionysian. It's so much fun. And it begins, though, with this honoring of death and what has been lost. So that might feel resonant for your Imbolc as well.
Right. Right. Yeah. And the whole theme is gestation, nourishment, renewal. And I think that's why this is such a good holiday that if you've, like me, fallen off the wagon to return to, because nourishing ourselves right now is paramount. We need to be nourished. We need to be fortified. That's something I've been talking about a lot with my students, is fortifying ourselves so we can weather the storm that we're in right now.
Yeah.
And there's no denying it. Like, this is crazy freaking times. It's a shit show. I'm not going to beat around the bush. So if we are undernourished, if we're not taking care of ourselves, there's no way we can get through this. No way we can fight back. No way we can do what we need to do coming forward. Yeah. So take care of yourselves.
Resistance is tiring work. And so if we are not working on regulating our nervous system, in finding rhythm, in finding presence, in finding calm, we're not going to be any good to this resistance. So really take that time, fill your cup, rejuvenate yourself, trust in the renewal to come. And that's how we're going to make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And let Imbolc be this gentle stretch and awakening. Don't overbook your schedule or anything. I promise I'm not recommending that. Keep yourself in rest mode. But let Imbolc be this returning light.
Yeah, we're still in winter. We're still in the dark time. Like, just give yourself a break, but start to wake up a little bit. Do a little decluttering, eat some soup, have a bannock.
Yeah, watch your favorite
Light
comfort
a candle.
Movies. Yeah. Enjoy Imbolc. Happy Imbolc, everybody.
Happy Imbolc. Merry meet.
Merry part. And merry meet again.
Thank you for joining us on the Magick Kitchen Podcast. Please visit my website, leandrawitchwood.com, for news, information, and more episodes.
I'm Elyse Welles. You can learn more about my current offerings and my upcoming retreats to Greece at ElyseWelles.com. That's ELYSEWELLES.com. Did you know you can get a free reading from me every single Wednesday at 10 a.m.? Join me in my live devotional space for Sacred Wild Wednesdays. We gather live on a webinar for free readings with oracle texts and tarot decks, magical musings on the moment, and some grounded spiritual guidance rooted in land. If you're craving a pause, a recalibration, and some community, you are so warmly invited to join us. Visit ElyseWells.com/SacredWildWednesdays to register and get the link straight to your inbox every Wednesday.